can be trusted in terms of their integrity.
The South African police service is fast becoming one big crime scene, and it's all happening under the tutelage of one Fani Masimola. The National Commissioner is the one that is the buck stops with him. He's the accounting officer for the SAPS. If his underlings are buying Lamborghinis, hotels, and going on holidays overseas without tax money, he's the one signing it off. He's the one implicated. I believe that he should have been at the gates of jail.
A 25-year-old man arrested yesterday for rape, robbery and attempted murder is expected to appear at the Motorway Magistrate Court outside Modimolle in Limpopo today. Police spokesperson Walisela Litwaba says the man allegedly broke into a house and raped a 55-year-old woman at Mokumu near Modimolle on Tuesday. The suspect also robbed the woman of a firearm and cash. In a separate incident, the suspect allegedly shot and wounded a 19-year-old man yesterday. Litwaba says police traced and arrested the man after the shooting incident.
The same suspect, when he was with patrons playing gambling game, allegedly pulled out a firearm and shot a 19-year-old male before fleeing the scene. Police responded swiftly, and following a thorough investigation, the suspect was traced and arrested the same day later in the evening.
With the G20 Leaders Summit just around the corner, City Power has raised alarm over what they describe as the deliberate sabotage of street lights along major highways. City Power says newly repaired lights along the M1 between Southgate and Killarney Bend, as well as routes like the M2, Malibongwe and Joe Slovo, are being deliberately destroyed with the thieves nowhere to be found. The entity believes these are not random acts of vandalism, but coordinated attempts to disrupt service delivery and undermine safety efforts ahead of the global event. City Power spokesperson Isaac Mangena says the motive and perpetrators behind this act remain unknown.
The motive and perpetrators behind this act remain unknown, but we suspect the involvement of individuals or groups seeking to disrupt service delivery ahead of the G20 event in Johannesburg, or even those who may stand to benefit financially from such disruptions, including unscrupulous contractors.
To tackle South Africa's high youth unemployment, the National Youth Development Agency has launched a 2.5 billion rand National Youth Fund. The announcement was made at a youth investment indaba in Johannesburg. The agency's deputy chairperson, Bonga Makanya, says investment in the fund will be sourced both locally and internationally for the next 3 years. According to Makanya, this will allow the agency to fund larger investments. He says the aim is to support sustainable enterprises in key sectors including mining, agriculture and manufacturing.
Today we begin our campaign to attract both local and international investments into South Africa, but particularly for youth and young people who want to have a key role in playing a role in the strategic sectors of the economy. And as the NYD has a new board, we will drive that approach and drive that new strategy to make sure that young people now are elevated in terms of the type of support and assistance that they get from the NYDA.
The Chinese President Xi Jinping has told leaders attending the Asia-Pacific Summit in South Korea to deepen economic cooperation in the face of global uncertainty. The Chinese Foreign Ministry says Xi, fresh from his talks with U.S. President Donald Trump, warned that change is unseen in a century we're accelerating across the world. The BBC's Nick Marsh reports.
Xi Jinping has stuck around in South Korea. Unlike Donald Trump, he's been meeting with Japan's new Prime Minister. He is meeting, I think, with Mark Carney, Canada's new Prime Minister. And who do they have in common as a new adversary when it comes to tariffs and trade? It's Donald Trump. So Donald Trump has left South Korea, but he's very much looming large in all of those meeting rooms at APEC.
Recapping the top story, the leader of the National Coloured Congress, Fidel Adams, has accused the police human resources of being compromised and captured by criminal elements. I'm Mondilambana for SFM News Headlines at 1:30.
The Expresso Morning Show has been nominated in 5 categories in the 3rd Annual National Film and Television Awards South Africa.
It all happens on Saturday, the 22nd of November 2025 at the South African State Theatre in Pretoria. And public voting is open from the 13th of October to the 20th of November at midday.
So visit nationalfilmacademy.com, register and vote for Expresso Morning Show in all 5 categories.
Then, of course, catch us weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. right here on S3.
This October month, SFM focuses on cybersecurity awareness. As we live more of our lives online, staying safe in the digital world has never been more important. From spotting cyber threats to protecting your personal data, SAFM brings you the conversations that empower you to stay secure. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Extraordinary is built on innovation, and Vodacom Business is leading the way. They provide the cloud that scales with ambition, AI that drives smarter decisions, IoT that connects what truly matters, and secure connectivity that keeps everything moving. From small enterprises to public sector solutions, Vodacom Business is creating a future where every connection counts. Stronger businesses, thriving communities, a nation ready to lead. Visit www.vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
This is often what happens when you're late to the party and you're late to the discovery of something fantastic. And then when you discover it, you just have it on repeat all the time because, you've just awoken to all that is incredible about it. That is how we feel about Trezo's Wale Wale. This song came out a couple of months ago. And of course, it was an introduction to his latest project. It features Sophia Nanzu on the vocals there. And she is a Kenyan singer-songwriter coming through to collaborate with him on this particular one. He actually is currently in Italy, and this is according to his Instagram handle at Trezo Official. He's currently in Italy because on the 25th of October, he was honored to receive the Courage of Art Award from the Premio Repubblica in Italy. And as he writes, this recognition means so much more than just an award. It's a reminder of why I create and who I create for. Through art, I found a way to shift the narrative of refugees and African youth to tell stories of resilience, beauty, and hope. This is a lifelong purpose, and I look forward to many more great things to come. And those are Trezo's words. And in fact, they segue us quite perfectly into our first conversation for this day because we're going to be in conversation with the Joburg Child Welfare's Inner City Program Manager, talking around the work that they do as Joburg Child Welfare, and also specific to this stage production that they've put together. It's airing tomorrow, the 1st of November. They're taking to stage at the Joburg Theatre, and we'll find out more about String Valley. We also have some stages, pages, screens, and more coming up today. And then we talk, a hug a day can change a child's life, and science agrees with this. We'll have that conversation in a matter of moments. But hey, good afternoon to you. I hope that you are having a great Friday. I know that it's a slightly chilly and wet for majority of the country, but still beautiful days nonetheless. Still feeling blessed to just be alive and be able to take it all in. It is the full circle with myself, Bridget Masinga on SAFM. Let's take a quick pause and we'll be right back.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations, and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Don't miss your chance to shape the future. The Limpopo Investment Conference 2025. Limpopo Rising, Africa's new investment frontier. Your gateway to unparalleled opportunities from October 30 and 31st in Polokwane. Seize the groundbreaking prospects in mining, agriculture, tourism, and green energy. Connect with global visionaries and investors driving Africa's economic boom. Limpopo's wealth is waiting. Be part of the rise. Join the conversation on lic.lcxonline.co.za. Invest in Limpopo. Invest in success.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
All right, we are catching up with Joburg Child Welfare's Inner City Program Manager, William Sitramong, who is here to talk to us about the work that the organization does, which is very important work indeed in providing interventions in places of security for vulnerable children. And also this stage production that they've put together, String Valley, which is going to be staged at the Joburg Theatre tomorrow, the 1st of November, for a matinee show. How are you doing this afternoon, William?
I'm well, thanks, Bridget. And how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for affording us the time. Much appreciated. I mean, I just literally introed Friday's show with a musical banger from a very successful African musician that I think a lot of South Africans now claim as being South African, but who, like many of the children who are under the care of Joburg Child Welfare, found himself orphaned at the age of 17. And of course, I'm talking about Trezo. Let's talk about the importance of the work and the kind of work that Joburg Child Welfare does for children like himself who find themselves on the streets as orphaned children or kids really from unsafe situations with nowhere, no alternative and nowhere to go.
Okay, thank you, Bridget. As you know, Jewish welfare is one of the oldest and most respected child protection organization. We work to check that law is empowered by including those who've been abused, neglected, or abandoned. So such programs do play a vital role in children's lives. On my side, from the inner city project, the programs that we offer, using arts, play-based learning, and youth development. We run this project so that children can build confidence and also so that they can grow up with hope and purpose. So also do such programs with schools as well. We identify talent, but never come up if they did not have, adults or someone who
Absolutely. And am I correct in assuming, William, because it is the inner city, it's the Joburg Child Welfare Inner City program, that you focus on inner city communities and particularly perhaps communities in the inner city that could be vulnerable communities?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we are based just opposite the MTN in the heart of the inner city. So the children come from the surrounding high-rise buildings, and we try and give them this informative program because so much in the inner city. Just one thing that
And talk to us about leveraging the creative arts, as a way in one part to help organizations like yourself, perhaps, I don't know, generate some revenues that go towards the resources that you deploy, but also, and I think more importantly, leveraging creative arts as a way, as you've alluded, to fostering and building that confidence and that self-awareness and even instilling a sense of hope to the kids that are involved in your program.
Yes. So with the creative arts, I believe that we are nothing without collaboration. So we do collaborate with other institutions, provide our services to us. For example, we have facilitators who can come in and the skills, performing. Also have visual arts. So with that, we also identify the if a child is very talented, also refer them to higher institutions where they can further learn and become somebody. And obviously, when we like already, procedures that we're going to have is that we'll take into the programs of child welfare so that we can continue with our programs. Not only the arts, but also have sports, counseling services. It all comes back to the organization and does the work for us.
So this production is showcasing in part the children's own unique voices, but also telling their stories and their lived experiences through their perspective. How important is that to sort of allow children to express themselves, to express their emotions, and particularly using creative tools and vehicles to do it?
Very much important. Most of our kids are not really heard at home. Their voices are not heard, and there's so much to say, either to our caregivers or to their parents, so much to say, but they are not given the platform to speak up. So the performing arts, this is what people say, it's something always wanted to tell someone. It's your opportunity. So how Strong really came about is that we want to tell the stories that you wish that you had told someone. Maybe the story is uncomfortable. It took a lot for them to actually create it down. Then stories, and so that people could be aware of what this kid have went through or what they are going through currently. It's very much important that, they voice out. Because many a times they in a lot of things but and it's forever now. So when I take care of it, I'll have to
Mm. The residual emotion of that, William, and I mean we'll get to the fun stuff of the actual production in a minute, but I'm wondering the residual emotion of going through this process of penning down one's experience or one's emotions, as you said, for some of the kids it was a difficult thing to do.
Yes, because it was like emotional roller coaster, Starting off, it was not easy. It was not easy before as time went by. You get to see these kids that were so shy. When they start to believe in themselves and start to also trust their fellow cast members. So we are at a point whereby emotionally all okay, they're all balanced, like how to work their stories and they've got to accept it. They have to own up to their stories. Because whatever that may be, happened, not reality to say it is how to move. And I'm through the some of this further issue.
And then I wonder, is there also an opportunity here to, once we've introduced the kids, onto this sort of artistic and creative path, and they've gotten a bite of what it might be like to be involved in these industries, whether as an actress, whether as a director, whether, in whatever capacity, a writer. I wonder, is there a possibility then for the program to further itself by way of upskilling and maybe even empowering these young people to perhaps look at the creative arts as a way of self-sustaining?
Oh yes, absolutely. So with the performing arts, because now what the show didn't really consist of members from different channels. So we had those different shows, in different places. This time around, we chose Cream, the best performers of Cream. So the plan is that show does not end tomorrow. We're going to grow, and our wish and our dream is to play it at the National Arts Festival next year. Because of what when it comes to not all equally experienced of centers, but then we want to make so that we don't leave anyone behind. It's already enough. They were exposed to the market how professionally, and now we're getting into this of like, also one of our he's an actor, but now because of his doing matric, could not have him every Saturday, so he then opted our live show. So tomorrow the lives will be done by him. So it's not just about but also working on the so it's broad, it's not just about acting. We have such workshops. And here,
Wonderful. So tomorrow is the big day because you are staging String Valley at the Joburg Theatre for a matinee show.
yes, tomorrow is the finally.
3 p.m. Are the kids excited? Are they nervous? What are they feeling? What's the emotion?
They are excited. Right, the time is finally here. I believe they will, do their best. So they will be now setting their stage.
Wonderful. And of course, we are all invited because I know tickets are being sold for 100 Rand, 100 seats that are available for this particular production. And we can go to the box office for the Joburg Theatre to see that. Hopefully, you might be able to score yourself a last minute ticket for tomorrow's matinee show, 3 p.m. tomorrow. And this is a unique showing of the children's voices that tell their stories and their lived experiences. And it speaks really to their unity and their human spirit. It is a Street Valley. William, thank you so much for the time. William is the Joburg Child Welfare Inner City Programs Manager, and they are putting together, as you heard, that collaborative production called String Valley. It's fast approaching 1:30 on our side. We are going to take a quick pause for the headline news, which is coming up in just 60 seconds or so. And then on the other side of the headlines, we are going to get into stages, pages, screens, and more. And then we're also having a conversation today around a hug a day can change a child's life. Apparently, science agrees with this, but did we really need science to tell us this? I don't know if we did need science. We'll find out from the head of residential services at the Girls and Boys Town, South Africa. Also, just the work that that organization does, because they've also been around quite a bit. So we'll catch up with Boys and Girls Foundation, and then I'll tell you what else is coming up on the other side of 2 o'clock.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. This October month, SAFM focuses on cybersecurity awareness. As we live more of our lives online, staying safe in the digital world has never been more important. From spotting cyber threats to protecting your personal data, SAFM brings you the conversations that empower you to stay secure. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, two DA ward councillors from Georging, the Western Cape, both serving on the Merrill Committee, have resigned to join the Patriotic Alliance. The leader of the National Coloured Congress, Fidel Adams, has accused the police human resources of being compromised and captured by criminal elements. And Tanzania's government says they're working swiftly to bring back stability as the country enters its third day of demonstrations. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Stages, pages, screens, and more on The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
Alrighty, as the show goes on, we are catching up with Lorraine Sitole, who is a South African literary activist and strategist who's passionate about literature and literacy. And we're talking starting and sustaining book clubs. Oh, book clubs can be such a contentious thing. I feel like book clubs can be the makings or the breakings of great friendships and relationships. It's a novel idea when you get together or somebody in the group decides that they want to start a book club. And they invite everybody to come along and join in the fun. But somehow, somewhere, 3, 4 book selections in, the momentum kind of slows down and the steam is kind of lost a little bit. And some book clubs never survive. I speak from experience. Some book clubs never survive. We are trying to get Lorraine on the line, and once we do, we'll get this conversation going. But in the meantime, on our last conversation, we would like to solicit some fundings and donations from our listeners. If you were listening to our conversation with William at the Joburg Child Welfare, one of the oldest child organizations, child focused organizations, and they deal, of course, with providing places of safety for vulnerable and endangered children. And you can contact them on 079-1475-107. That's 079-1475-107. That's their WhatsApp line. If you'd like to perhaps see about donating, making monetary donations, or perhaps inquiring what other resources they might need, or you can log on to www.joburgchildwelfare.co.za. But Joburg is abbreviated, so it's JHB, childwelfare.org.za. All right, we've got Lorraine on the line. Oh, we're having a bad time with her line. It keeps dropping. Okay. Maybe let's just take a quick promo and then we'll see if we can't get her on a different line. Apparently, her connection keeps dropping on us. So we hope it's going to hold for the duration of our conversation. Perhaps we'll try and get her on WhatsApp and see what happens if we use that as an alternative. It is the full circle with myself, Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
Call us on 086 000 2032. The National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
Paul Biya has secured his 8th term in office. He's the world's oldest president. He's been declared the winner of the Cameroon presidential election.
I have told you and I continue to tell you, this is a guy in Cameroon who has ruled it 93 years. He doesn't speak. He can't speak. He is completely out of his mind. He doesn't know where he is. All the leaders in Cameroon, the president of the Senate is 93. The president of the parliament is 89. Another one is 82. Another one is 91. Oh, the army general, the police commander is 93. Look, I am not against it.
Dr. David Matsanga, the International Relations and Conflict Resolution.
Ashraf Garda on SAF. This October month, SAFM joins the world in breast cancer awareness. We bring you conversations that highlight the importance of early detection, survivor stories that inspire hope, and expert advice that could save lives. Together, let's spread awareness and support the fight against breast cancer. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
I'm Michelle Constant. Join the JSB crew and I every Saturday and Sunday morning between 7 and 10 a.m. We promise to keep you informed and entertained with innovation, culture, cars, travel, life learnings, environment, and of course, your big fat juicy. Small stories, big ideas, massive inspiration. The Jet Set Breakfast on SAFM.
Bridget Masinga, weekdays on the Full Circle.
Alrighty, I think we've managed to get a hold of Lorraine Sitolin. Hopefully, the line will be stable for us to have the conversation. And we're just chatting casually around starting and sustaining book clubs. And I was saying, Lorraine, as we had that drop line, that book clubs can be so tricky. I think there's good intention to start the good book club for all the right reasons, reasons to be reading more, to be engaged more, to socialize more. But I find that most times when I talk to people who've attempted a book club, 3 or 4 books in, someone somewhere drops the ball and then the momentum is gone. And before you know it, a book club is in the distant rearview mirror.
That is so true, Bridget. I mean, it's always a great idea to start anything. I mean, that does not preclude a book club. But what really I have found with my running of Bookworms Book Club for 40 years is you need to have a passion for the admin behind the book club. It's not just about choosing a book, reading the book. It's also about encouraging and motivating the book club members to stay reading month in, month out, to show up, to participate in the conversations. In a book club setting, we are not looking for, oh, the book was nice. We have 2 to 3, almost 4 hours of in-depth discussions, and it will do you no good to show up in a book club meetup and you haven't read the book, then we are spoiling it for everyone. And most importantly for us, because we read a lot of South African and African literature, we are able to invite authors, whether virtually or in person. And, I find that it is not really fair to have the author there and you find that majority of the book club members have not really read the book. This is an afternoon out of our life. We show up, the author shows up, and we really have to make it worth everyone's style. So great idea, starting one, but really, really work and passion in sustaining one.
Absolutely. I mean, And I speak from experience because we had this great intention a few winters ago, and I think when we got to book number 4, the person who was meant to select the book just procrastinated, and ended up not getting the book. But you're also right in the sense that perhaps we don't consider the amount of work that it takes to keep the momentum and the interest going in something like a book club, because maybe a lot of us approach it from a social perspective. Yes, we want to read more, but we want more excuses to come together.
Yes, and I mean, a book club is such a great setting for coming together of people, but you mustn't lose the whole reason of the existence of the book club. Yes, I know. I mean, I've had times in my 14 years where I was like fatigued and exhausted, but the book club is bigger than me. You have to consider the other members within the book club, and also, reading again is such a lonely endeavor. So it is so exciting. We look forward to the second Saturday of the month to chew on the book, to discuss the book. I mean, we have made notes, we have highlighted, we have passages that we want to share with everyone. And we also have passages that we change word to get. We also want to share with everyone.
Absolutely. And it also speaks to the fact that we keep having this conversation around literature and literacy in the country. And so something like this helps to just broaden that conversation, and also I think even illuminate in the households for mom and dads that you've got to model the behavior that you keep insisting you want to see from your kids.
Exactly. I mean, we cannot speak about developing the literary landscape of South Africa without talking really with passion and insight on the literacy rate. Reading starts at school. Yes, children learn to read from school. Most of our children do that, but then we sustain it in our own homes. And if we become the parents who pick up books after a hard day's work, then it filters down to the children. They become children who don't only read in class, who also look forward to reading after the schools are closed, like this Friday afternoon. There's no school tomorrow, but then you also want to keep the children reading and excited and reading beyond what is prescribed in the classrooms, what is required in institutions of higher learning as well.
Absolutely. I want us to just pause here for a second, Lorraine, and just take a quick commercial break. We'll be back on the other side of this, talking to Lorraine Sitole around book clubs. Hey, as you listen, I wonder if you are part of a book club. I'd love to believe that our listeners read. Uh, and it's something that you do because you love to do it, not just because you're reading the newspaper because you want to be clued in on the news, but you pick up other forms of literature as well. And maybe you've been part of a successful book club, or maybe you've been part of a book club that's gone awry, or you just use it as an excuse to get together with the boys for a little bit of a brandewijn dop. I don't know. We'd love to hear from you. It's just gotten 2 o'clock on the Full Circle.
It's exam time again. With 3 teenagers, that used to mean late-night cramming sessions and very stressed-out kids. Not anymore, thanks to Memorex. This all-natural supplement helps reduce mental fatigue and stress and helps my kids concentrate for longer. And when it's time to write, Memorex improves their memory retention and recall. Exam time equals Memorex time. Memorex, the X factor in memory reboot. Visit memorx.co.za.
Available at leading pharmacies and health shops.
The Clarets are looking for a win on home soil to rise from the bottom half.
Foster is going to win it! Oh, yes! Oh, what a finish! Lyle Foster! Surely he's won it!
On the other side, the Gunners of London are prepared to do everything in their power to protect their #1 position.
Great shot comes in! Alice Eza! Eza against his former club with a fine finish. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Look at that.
This is the Premier League. Do not miss out on this exhilarating clash between Burnley FC and Arsenal FC. This Saturday, 1 November at 4:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC 3. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Extraordinary is built on innovation, and Vodacom Business is leading the way. Cloud that scales with your business. Security that earns trust. AI for smarter, faster decisions. IoT that connects systems and people. And connectivity that bridges every gap. With these technologies working together, Vodacom Business is helping to build a better connected, future-ready South Africa. Visit vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together. Stages, pages, screens, and more on the Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
Lorraine Sitole is joining us in conversation, and she is a literary activist. And we are talking book clubs, starting and sustaining your book club. It is a Friday. We've got a full show today because the commission is out for resets. And on Fridays, we take it easy with fabulous, fun, informative conversations with friends of the show. And Lorraine, you were talking around, the work that goes into sustaining a book club also speaks to the right choices that we make, right? How do we make sure, for instance, I don't know if there's a formula in all the years that you've done this, that you've realized works in choosing books that keep club members engaged, entertained, informed, and locked in to the commitment of the book club.
One of the things that has kept the book club going is we use a very democratic system. So each member then will put up a title, and then will go to vote. It's more like a bidding process, and whichever title is the most popular, whether we like it, we don't like it, but if we have voted yes on it, then that is the title we're going with. And secondly, we try to really balance popular books with lesser known gems. Every week, every day, there is something hot off the press, and we want to get it. There is a huge recommendation from the reading community as well as from the literary influencers, and we want to get that. But we also want to unearth those books that are lesser known, who are written by people that are not really popular within literary circles. And thirdly, to consider affordability of books. Is the book widely available? Is it available here in South Africa? Anything that we have to order overseas definitely is out. That is going to be out of pocket for us. And really, there are so many modes that we use. We also use Kindle. We also use Audible. So it is lesser on Kindle if you get it on Kindle, and also if you get it on Audible. And one thing about Audible is the more you read, the more points you accumulate. So you find that your next 2, 3 reads, you don't have to pay extra money for them. You can use your points. But it is definitely democratic. Everyone feels included. Everyone feels heard. Everyone feels seen. Whether we like it or not, that will be discussed in the book club. And we read some dreadful books, but we bought them, we read them, and we showed up for the discussion.
Right? And I think, thank you. I think that sometimes perhaps it's that element of democracy that a lot of us don't have. Because I must admit, when we tried a book club, and this was a few winters ago because we were bored, it was winter, and we thought, let's read. There wasn't much democracy in the sense of how you describe it. It was just a case of every individual choose your book, and then we will rally and go read your book. And the stumbling block was when one friend of ours could not choose a book. Like we were just like, but we are waiting for your book submission, and she could not choose a book, and so ultimately weeks became months, and then we just were like, okay, it's done. Done and dusted.
Out, yeah.
Yeah, no. And then I've got to wonder, Lorraine, when you speak on audiobooks, maybe this is just a me thing. Please, I think if anyone's listening there and you think it's just a me thing, please WhatsApp me. Because I'm a little bit judgy of people who read audiobooks. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
No.
One of my favorite people, Kojo Buffalo, who's a writer himself, he's a ferocious reader. He also reads a lot of audiobooks. And he says just because you're stuck in so much traffic in Joburg. But I go, but are you really reading or is someone reading to you?
Well, essentially, someone is reading to you. I mean, it takes you back to your childhood when your mom or dad or caregiver read for you. And for me, it just gives me that nostalgic feeling. But also, what it does is when you cannot find the hours to sit down with a physical book, then you can just listen to audiobook while you do something else, sort of multitasking type of thing. But because book club is so discussion heavy, then you will also be encouraged to write notes, to bookmark some excerpts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you are reading by being read to. I mean, that's how our children learn how to read, right? By being read to first, and then they pick up the reading.
Lorraine, I think you're like cheating. Thank you for the time and the fabulous conversation. Maybe we will rethink book clubs using some of your strategies that have clearly worked over the years. That was Lorraine Sitole talking to us around starting and sustaining your book clubs. I think you're like cheating when you're like having these audio books being read to you all. It's approaching 10 to 2 o'clock. Let's take a quick pause and then we'll come back and we'll catch up on another discussion.
Streaming Scheme Sum on the way to class.
Catching the Premier League while waiting for your order.
Jamming to Metro FM before you even get out of bed.
On SABC Plus, sinayo yonke into ifunayo. Your shows, your music, your way, anytime, anywhere. Zero subscription fees.
On your phone, tablet, or smart TV.
Download SABC Plus on iOS or Google Play Store.
You might not always notice us, but your safety is our priority. From the moment you step out of your home, drop your child at school, or arrive at work, when you trust someone to cut a new set of keys or attend a packed stadium event. From VIP protection to safeguarding goods and property, your security matters to us. Choose wisely. Choose right. Only use CIRA accredited security service providers. CIRA. Safer homes, safer businesses, safer communities.
Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
All right, we are catching up now with Kathleen Hawthorne, who's the head of Residential Services, Girls and Boys Town, South Africa. And the conversation is a hugger day can change a child's life, and science agrees with this. But do we really need science to tell us that this probably holds true? How are you doing, Kathleen?
Hi, Bridget. Thanks very much. I'm doing very well, and thanks to in.
Thank you so much for the time. I'm a firm believer that, much like an apple a day keeps the doctor away, that a hug a day can definitely change a child's life.
Yes, I totally agree. I had even just a gesture, kind of it's a lifeline. And for many of our children who have faced abandonment, poverty, abuse, I had connected with them know that they are safe, that they can heal. And the power that it's something that you actually can't imagine. For children, some kids have isn't actually a good thing. And from our side, we actually it teach them how to understand that in fact actually can be something special. You spoke about the science of it. And yes, it has actually to help you stress yourself. It can actually help calm yourself down. The scientific term is oxytocin is released. So that's like the bonding, the cuddling hormone, as the extra is. It's there so that the children actually can learn to feel safe, to understand that they can start to trust people again, and they can find some happiness. And also for those at the Golden Boston, not just that it's a physical thing. We look at the HUD as our child and its priorities. Realistically, how do we help them? And looking at our mission is to help how you actually interact with the children on an everyday level.
Absolutely. And I know I started our conversation backwards, and I skipped the part of getting the context of Girls and Boys Town, South Africa, for folks who might not know. We'll definitely double back to that in a moment. I just want to pick up on something that you've said that, for some kids, a hug isn't a good thing. And I can imagine that this, particularly because of the children that you deal with, prior to you, we were talking to the Joburg Child Welfare, and because of the children that they deal with and the environments that they come from, both your organizations and what they could have experienced, that physical touch to that child could be, the worst experience, the most negative experience. And you speak on your work being focused around, in part, redirecting that and changing that. Talk to us a little bit about that.
That is correct. I think if a child comes to us and we know that they've been abused in any form, physically, sexually, even on an emotional level, where they've been victim of emotional abuse, when you actually work with a child, you very quickly understand and learn how to give a reassuring touch to a child. And some children down the line, once they actually learn to trust, they will actually come to you and literally seek out the hug. Because that hug will then actually let them know that they're seen, that they're there, that they are a human being that actually can be protected and deserves to be protected. So I think when we actually work with the children who sometimes from a different background and professionals, your touch is only gentle. Not, I don't know how can be gentle, but your touch is gentle. A gentle touch on the arm, see how the child reacts to that. And then obviously from there, you can actually work on it. But also what happens is that children who have experienced abuse is when they see other children interacting with one of our staff or other professionals, where there is a hug and nothing happens after that. They actually then start to understand that person I can trust. If they do that, nothing's going to happen. It's purely they're going to give me a hug, they're going to actually make me feel better, that I'm not going to have to do something or they're not going to expect something from me if there's actually physical touch.
Absolutely. Now, to go back to the beginning and get the context around Girls and Boys Town, South Africa, there was a time when we'd see your commercials all over the television. I remember when I was growing up, and that's how I became familiar with Girls and Boys Town. But give us some history around the organization.
Okay, Girls and Boys Town started in 1958, and at that stage it was called Boys Town. And in 2004 we changed to Girls and Boys Town, and we started working with girls as well. So we work with children primarily with behavioral who are experiencing behavioral challenges in their life. But we deal with children from all over, abandoned, abused, neglected children. So we actually work with all of them, and what we actually do then is we actually assist them and we teach them life skills, useful life skills. So how to actually interact correctly. So if they've been disrespectful, they've been disrespectful at home or in school, we work with them and teach them how to be respectful. We've got skill on being respectful, and there's different steps, and we teach them that. And then obviously we actually ensure that we constantly let them know that we actually see that they're doing the right thing. So once we've taught them a skill, we actually encourage it, we acknowledge that they're actually doing it. So there's always that positive reinforcement to them so that they understand and their own self-worth and self-esteem is actually built up, that they understand that they're worthy of actually better things than sometimes where that come from. So sometimes if the kids have been disrespectful at school or at home, then everyone says we don't want you. And it's stark reality. So we actually try and change that and change the way that children think about themselves because of labels that have been put on them at home or at school or in the environment that they've come from, because people think that they're naughty children. Children, yes, there's naughtiness, but our children aren't naughty children. Our children are children that are struggling with something in their life. And sometimes there's also trauma that has affected them and they are acting out. And we actually are there to help them deal with the trauma, which will then in fact actually alter the way they actually see themselves and the way they actually act in life.
And And as we wrap it up, Kathleen, in our last minute before the news, I know that for National Children's Day, which is observed tomorrow, you obviously are urging caregivers and parents and communities just to remember the importance of a simple hug, that simple, safe gesture.
Yes, and I think it's also when that gesture is something that's very important to any child. It lets them know that they are loved, they are worthy, they are cared for, they are safe, and they are certainly, especially when families, that they are protected. And I think that's the most important thing, is to let our children know that an adult is there to protect you, and you will listen as well to you, but a hug is actually there to give you that comfort that you actually need at any time. Happiness, sadness, always there.
I appreciate the time with you. I thank you so much. And of course, a job well done to your organization for stepping in where others have let our children down. That was Kathleen Hawthorne, Head of Residential Services at the Girls and Boys Town, South Africa, with just a few seconds to go before the top of the hour. So perhaps put it in your diary tomorrow. Maybe even this would be a great opportunity. I know some families are not really affectionate like that. They're not very physical like that. You find that parents were not raised in a physically affectionate family, and so they don't know how to carry that over to their own children. Maybe this would be a good conversation starter tomorrow on National Children's Day, and be like, hey, it's National Children's Day, and I heard I'm supposed to give you a hug today, and see how that goes for everybody, for mom and dad and kids alike. I swear, they are grown parents, grown adults who've never experienced a hug from their own parents their entire lives. It happens, these things. It is 2 o'clock. It's time for us to catch up with Ondela and the news.
Outsurance is in the business of saving you money on your car insurance premium. If they can't, ask for 500 Rand. SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754.
Thank you, Bridget. On the top stories, two George DA councillors join Patriotic Alliance, and Tanzanian government attempts to bring stability in the country. For SFM News, I'm Ondalambana, and a very good day. Two DA ward councillors from George in the Western Cape, both serving on the Mayoral Committee, have resigned to join the Patriotic Alliance. The move by Brandon Adams and Marshall Kleinhans not only triggers two by-elections in the coming months, but also strips the DA of its majority in council. The party now holds 25 seats in the 55-seat council. With support from its coalition partner, the ACDP, they can count on 26 votes, too short of a majority. Adams says his decision was about giving a voice to marginalized communities.
Yesterday, I've read messages of the 50 silver coins thing, the Judas thing and all of that nonsense. And I said, no, my journey is to represent the Khoi people. I didn't get any money. Interestingly enough, Marshall, his money was stopped, but because of lawyers' letters, his payment at the municipality, it went through yesterday, Marshall. So he got his last salary, because Marshall was also MMC within the DA, just like I was MMC in the DA.
The leader of National Coloured Congress, Fadil Adams, has accused the police human resources of being compromised and captured by criminal elements. Adams said this while opening a formal allegation against the National Police Commissioner, Fani Masamula, in Cape Town. He says the sources of their statements are very reliable and can be trusted in terms of their integrity.
You know what? The South African police service is fast becoming one big crime scene, and it's all happening under the tutelage of one Fani Masamula. The National Commissioner is the one that is the buck stops with him. He's the accounting officer for the SAPS. If his underlings are buying Lamborghinis, hotels, and going on holidays overseas without tax money, he's the one signing it off. He's the one implicated. I believe that he should have been at the gates of jail. I think that that press conference that Mkwanazi called was to save his friends. This has got nothing to do with ethics. As a matter of fact, I don't know if the man has ethics. Remember, he issued a very veiled threat at me yesterday. A very veiled one. Here's my response. I will see your bet and I'll raise it. Next week, General Mkwanazi, I will lay charges about the extrajudicial killings of children that's happening in KZN.
With the G20 Leaders Summit just around the corner, City Power has raised alarm over what they describe as the deliberate sabotage of street lights along major highways. City Power says newly repaired lights along the M1 between Southgate and Kilani Band, as well as routes like the M2, Malibongwe and Joe Slovo, are being deliberately destroyed with the thieves nowhere to be found. The entity believes these are not random acts of vandalism, but coordinated attempts to disrupt service delivery and undermine safety efforts ahead of the global event. City Power spokesperson Isaac Mangena says the motive and perpetrators behind this act remains unknown.
The motive and perpetrators behind this act remain unknown, but we suspect the involvement of individuals or groups seeking to disrupt service delivery ahead of the G20 event in Johannesburg, or even those who may stand to benefit financially from such disruptions, including unscrupulous contractors.
The Moses Kotane anti-corruption movement, representing 109 villages in the northwest, has blamed deep-seated corruption within the Moses Kotane local municipality for the poor services the communities are receiving. There is no provision of water for over a decade at Lirome village, though contracts have been awarded to install water infrastructure. According to the movement, the 27 million rand Larume Tabeng bulk water project was handed over while incomplete. They also allege that authorities are committing tender fraud by creating fake projects. William Kilatliwe is a representative of the anti-corruption movement.
Ghost project is a project that was never done, or it's something that was never done. Hence, we call it cashback. They only make money of those projects, and that in most of the instances, they use outside companies from Limpopo and KZN to do this ghost or cashback. So, in a nutshell, the community, they don't get a proper service delivery because of most of this ghost project. Those are the money that should have been used to service the local communities in supplying them with water, fixing the roads.
Tanzania's government says they are working swiftly to bring back stability as the country enters its third day of demonstrations. This follows Wednesday's election, which has been criticized as two President Samia Suluhu Hassan's biggest competitors were barred from participating. Leading members of the European Parliament have since condemned the elections, describing them as unleashing an atmosphere of repression, intimidation and fear. Bonolo Maribe has more.
Protests erupted in Tanzania on Wednesday over the exclusion of the president's two main opposition parties. Police imposed overnight curfews for 2 consecutive nights, and internet access has also been disrupted. Although casualty figures remain unconfirmed, a diplomatic source reported credible claims of dozens of deaths.
Recapping the top story, 2 DA ward councillors from George in the Western Cape, both serving on the mayoral committee, have resigned to join the Patriotic Alliance. I'm Wandilambana for SAFM News Headlines at 2:30.
Outsurance will go out of their way to try and save you money on your car insurance. If they can't, ask for 500 Rand. SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754. You could spend 10 minutes waiting for that file to download. Or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For his 2024 Ford Ranger, 57-year-old Andy now pays only 1,083 Rand a month. And for her 2020 Hyundai Tucson, 48-year-old Felicity pays just 836 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online. This is Lungi on any other regular day.
This economy makes me post once a day. Who does that? Like, ew.
Now this is Lungi getting extra with the 20 gig summer deal for just 99 Rand.
I have so many gigs. I could even have a gig, guys. I'm going live every single day to me because guess
Extra your summer. Get 20 gigs plus 2 months free YouTube Premium and 100 Vodabucks exclusively on the Vodafone app. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
Join us Tuesday evening at 6 on Afternoon Express as we open up to your best life. The one and only Somizi Mhlongo goes back to school as part of his newest foray in the world of fashion. Musical maestro Lord Kez unpacks her story and how her newest song is sweeping the nation. And we unpack how every South African can turn their dream into a reality. That's Tuesday evening at 6 with repeats Sunday mornings at 8:30 only on S3.
This October month, SFM joins the world in breast cancer awareness. We bring you conversations that highlight the importance of early detection, survivor stories that inspire hope, and expert advice that could save lives. Together, let's spread awareness and support the fight against breast cancer. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Like ito le puposo ko umangente ko ito. Sige poso ka ofela. Ha? Wala poso ko makaya. Wala di poso ko spine, wala di poso ko shit. Wala ito. Poso ki ulo parang bebuda pula ina. Wala ito. Daringi. Kingwatso. Waphakama. Ke wena wale yehleke. Dawu just afast lapha sana. Para posso hasina.
I mean, he's got quite the discography, right? This being one of the songs, Bosso. And this song, at the point when it was released, became quite the national anthem. But not only did the song become a national anthem and it was used on multiple campaigns and ads, but the actual phrase, Bosso Kimang, became a literal it phrase at the time. Had we had Twitter and such things at the height of Jabba, we probably would have we would have had Bosoki Mang overload, right? It goes down as one of his more iconic songs, alongside Tuaka Music and Lights. Also, Harambe was another song. Gone too soon indeed. It would have been interesting to see where the Mutsuako King would have been in terms of his musical career at the moment. It is 2:15. That's how we enter the 2 o'clock hour, by the way. Who chose this song? Who chose this song? It can be a democracy around here. You heard Lorraine talk about, democracy. It can be a democracy around here on a Friday afternoon. We're going to be catching up now with actress Fiona Ramsey, and we're looking at a new production, So Long, Marianne, and it is a memoir of music, song, and story to bid farewell to the legendary icon Marianne Faithfull. How are you doing this afternoon, Fiona?
Bridget, I'm fine. I'm fine. Great to get an opportunity to chat.
And thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it. So perhaps let's go back to the beginning of the story, and give us a history and a background around Marianne.
So, I mean, she was quite a legend because she became very famous. She was recognized at the party. She was discovered at the party when she was 17 years old. And they thought she was so beautiful. The Rolling Stones wrote a song for her, and she was catapulted kind of the eye of the storm of the 60s. And I suppose what she's most famous for is surviving. She became, as with a lot of people in that era, like Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, she became a drug addict. And she lived on the streets of New York and London as well. And then she made a comeback and recovery. And so it's really the story about a survivor. And I really think that in our time is just fantastic when, longevity, I mean, we just mentioned I mean, a lot of our icons are too soon. She never was an icon, she wanted to be called a survivor. So many traced her life through that. And she recorded about 40 albums in her life. So, although, one of her obituaries, a music critic very unkindly said, I think she became very famous for achieving very little. And I actually think she defined that. And she never wanted to be called an icon. She only wanted to be called a survivor. She said, I survived, and if I didn't have friends, I didn't have work, I couldn't survive. So those sentiments are quite close to me. I think we are all grappling with the world at the moment. I suppose every generation, every does. But famous songs in it, Ballad of Lucy George, Tears Go By from her youth, her latest. I mean, Ballad of Lucy Jordan was used for the film Thelma and Louise.
Okay.
And that's what really became famous. But, she was also an actress. She did Shakespeare in her early days. So I do a little bit of Shakespeare. I read poetry. I do it with musician Tony Basil. And it's interesting because I did a show on her about 15 years ago called Telegrams from Hell. And I London and I told her that I was going to try and do that show in London, and she looked at me with her customary cigarette, and she I don't know that. Voila. And then she added, if you're going to telegrams from hell, my dear, do me but she had quite a lot of humor. You know what I mean? She was quite humorous and irony and all that. It's a musical tribute. Tony Danforth plays piano. There's a new guitarist, a young guy who's coming up. He plays bass and lead guitar. His name's Adrian Rabin. And so it's wonderful to have a young person.
I mean, I was about to say, as I'm listening to you talk, I'm hitting a quick Google search and landing up on rollingstone.com. And I'm wondering, well, how does one, when I say one, myself, know nothing about this iconic woman who's billed as being the Rolling Stone muse and the 1960s it girl who found a stunning second act as a singer-songwriter? But there's a whole generation of people who don't know all of this phenomenal story.
And I think it's really important in the arts to have as wide a general knowledge as you can. Just so that, if you want to be a musician, I mean, you might say that some of that music is not necessarily in one development, a current artist, depending on the genre that you're in. But it, I mean, I think for a lot of older people, it's a real walk down memory lane. I mean, it's a real, it's the era of hippies and peace. And actually, the generation, that for domesticies around the world, they could love, flower, all that. So, it's an era of optimism, kind of thing I would like to show as counterbalance the the world at the moment. You know, I mean, I think that what really excited me was the era of democracy, when democracies were suddenly being in Africa as well. Everyone, you know, the countries were giving freedom and liberation all through the 60s. And suddenly that seems to have stopped. It went down on the right. And so it's just political in its own way, but it's really a reminiscence and it's to
Yeah. Let's just take a quick pause here, Fiona, for a break, and then we'll come back on the other side and continue our conversation and also learn a little bit more, about this character, this protagonist female that's centered in this musical. We're in conversation with Fiona Ramsey, who is a South African actress, writer, and all things fabulous. It's just gone 20 past 2 o'clock.
The National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
Paul Biya has secured his 8th term in office. He's the world's oldest president. He's been declared the winner of the Cameroon presidential election.
I have told you and I continue to tell you, this is a guy in Cameroon who has ruled it 93 years. He doesn't speak. He can't speak. He is completely out of his mind. He doesn't know where he is. All the leaders in Cameroon, the president of the Senate is 93. The president of the parliament is 89. Another one is 82. Another one is 91. Oh, the army general, the police commander is 93. Oh, look, I am not against age.
Dr. David Matsanga, the International Relations and Conflict Resolution.
Ashraf Garda on SAF. SAFM music crafted to make you feel real good. Handpicked just for your pleasure. Classics sounding so good only on SAFM. Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
So Long Marianne is a theatre production with Fiona Ramsey at the helm of it, paying tribute to the legendary icon Marianne Faithfull, who passed on at the age of 78 earlier this year, around January, from what I've learned. And interestingly enough, also, I've just learned that she actually, comes from quite the aristocratic family because her father worked in British intelligence and her mother was a baroness. So this was a hipster who really was rebelling a lot of things at the time, not just like, a frivolous hipster running around here for no cause and no reason. What do they call it? A rebel without a cause.
Yes. In fact, she says at one point, she says when she was particularly low, she says, I had to get my mojo back, and I realized rebellion is the only way to stay alive. So she was a real rebel. She was a rebel rouser in her own way. She came from a very aristocratic background. She had this really, very
Mm.
and which was complete counterbalance to all the huge stuff that was going on at the time. She was like an aristocrat in the rock and roll world.
Mm.
We don't often say that. And she sort of became the same credit because we presented some serious artists, were painting them, and she gave them a lot of that she ever loved. She often art.
Mm.
They were very on
Mm.
like to take a path that was not easy,
Yeah.
but she a lot of her work is very interesting, and a lot of people say it's some wrist flashing, but not really. She's
Mm.
quite optimistic, and she's got a wonderful sense of humor. That survive.
Absolutely. Now, I wonder because in some of the work that you've done over the years, you have a flair for finding the delicacy of a character, that that softness, and that humanity that is sometimes hidden beneath all the layers. And in this particular situation, because you say that the piece is really focused on bringing to stage Marianne as a survivor, as this woman of resilience. But then the more we talk, I can almost sense that in the layers in between, there was this delicateness, there was the softness, there was these other textures that perhaps people at the time may have missed, or maybe were not even privy to, because she had to come to the performative of this is who I am in order to survive.
And I think we have a lot of sort of celebrities, particularly to go through a similar. She also says, I was passed out. I was suddenly called a junkie.
Mm.
Because I was bad. But she said, how bad dangerous to know. And they become more glamorous. They just become more glamorous. Become gangsters, icons, bad boy icons. And she said, girls are really shunned by society. And sometimes lots of excuses. I mean, I think it also deals with the struggle of women making it such a male-dominated sort of rock and roll with very male-oriented. Hell, icons only became about it around much earlier. But
I mean, I'm now interested, Fiona, in coming up to the Pop Art Center.
and it used to be in Baboneng,
Mm.
and fabulous place. It was a bad time. It was really wonderful. But people are very wary since COVID. COVID has now created space. And so this is Park Wood, which is in a very quiet suburb. It's kind of, it's not in this really burly center of the town or new town or something like that. I think it may garner other people to come. And because it's a new venue, we want to publicize it as much as possible.
Absolutely.
And of course, with my show, you always get a free drink.
Who's the rebel
because
now?
I can't believe once
spinning it, Fiona Ramsey. So Long Marianne is showing on the 6th to the 7th. That's next weekend, right?
6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Yeah, on the 6th, 7th, and 8th on the 7 o'clock in the evening.
Oh, wonderful. From a ticketing perspective, pop art box office?
Yes, I actually don't have the where's you can the pop art,
Okay.
and it comes up where you go.
No, fantastic.
I think it might be web ticket. Might be, I'm not sure.
Don't worry.
It might be an independent, but please come down. One me. Thanks, people.
No, it sounds like a great afternoon or a great night out. We've just gotten some listeners who've sent us voice notes on WhatsApp, and they want to know why are you excluding Cape Town? When are you bringing the show to Cape Town?
Oh wow, it's a matter of financial. We'll
Yeah.
see how this goes. You know, this week. We probably go to a festival.
Mm.
Which we can, and then successful. For example, we used to do Tony and I did a play called The Old and the Beautiful. And that was about Josie, and it was a lovely getting married and all the things that happened to us. And that went to Grahamstown, Cape Town, to it's been all over the show. Well, we just
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hopefully, the theatre gods are smiling on the production and it's able to then travel to Cape Town. Fiona, I appreciate the time with you this afternoon. Thank you so much for the great energy. That was veteran actress Fiona Ramsey. And of course, that production, So Long Marianne, is showing from the 6th to the 9th of November at the Pop Art Theatre. We'll double check also online. And before we wrap up the show, we'll come back and just relay the information because we know sometimes, you're distracted with other things and you prefer us to do the Googling for you as to where you can find the tickets. It's 2:30. Andela is standing by with the headline news, and then we'll come back on the other side of that with our kids programming. Siwela Langeni is joining us today, as per usual, for the book circle, and we're looking at the latest books on the shelf. So that conversation is coming up in the final 30 minutes of the show.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, the city of Ekurhuleni Disaster Management Emergency Services says it is on high alert after the South African Weather Service issued warnings for severe thunderstorms across large parts of the country, including Gauteng. Accused one in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial at the High Court in Pretoria, Muzi Sibia, has accused the investigating officers of stealing his identity document to fill in personal information. And aid agencies in Sudan say they're disturbed by the limited numbers of displaced Darfurians fleeing Al-Fashir. A full update follows the top of the hour.
I don't love school. I don't love trying to learn like everyone else learns and falling behind when I don't understand. But I do love learning. I do love working to my own schedule and getting the support when I need extra help. I do love UCT Online High School because I do love my future. Apply online before 28 November.
Gordon Ramsay is back, and your favorite kitchen disasters are still somehow in business. New season, same confused chefs, terrifying walk-ins, and enough grease to fry your Wi-Fi. Watch as Gordon tries to fix the unfixable with nothing but sheer rage, British sarcasm, and an iron stomach. Kitchen Nightmares Season 8, Wednesdays at 6 p.m. on S3. Come for the food, stay for the emotional damage.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Nali Bali. Did you know that being safe is one of the most important things we can do for ourselves? Sometimes it might feel fun or exciting to walk off on your own, but it's not safe for children to go anywhere alone. When we are with a parent, a teacher, or a trusted adult, we are protected and cared for. But when we wander off alone, we can get lost, confused, or even end up in dangerous situations. That's why it's always better to stay close to someone we trust. Remember, being brave doesn't mean going off by yourself. Being brave means knowing how to make safe choices, like asking an adult to walk with you or waiting for a friend instead of leaving alone. So today, let's promise to keep ourselves safe by never going anywhere alone, because your safety is precious and you are important. Now get comfortable as we listen to today's story called The White Lion, written by Caspar Neruheni. But before we listen to today's story, let's all get up and... Chimbi lives with her granny in a village at the edge of a mysterious forest. Every morning, Chimbi opens a window and listens to the birds singing in the trees. Then she takes a deep breath. She loves the smell of plants and the tall trees growing in the forest. Chimbi's favorite time of the week is when her granny takes her to the forest to collect wild fruits for making jam and herbs and mushrooms for making soup and medicine. When they have finished gathering the fruit and herbs, Makulu sets up a picnic blanket so that they can enjoy their lunch in the forest. Makulu always packs sandwich with jam and tea to drink.
Mulberry jam is my favorite, Granny,
says Chimbi as she licks her fingers. After lunch, Granny says,
Chimbi, you may go and play in the forest for a while, but please stay close to our picnic spot.
Of course, Gogo.
Chimbi shouts as she runs off to explore. Chimbi loves all beautiful flowers and animals that live in the forest. She is very careful not to disturb or harm them. Too soon, Granny calls.
Come on, Chimbi. It's time to go home now.
On their way home, Granny always tells Chimbi a story about the forest that her mother used to tell her when she was Chimbi's age.
In the forest, there lives a mystical white lion that protects the animals and the people of our village. It lives in the deepest parts of the forest, and only people with pure hearts can see the lion.
Granny says,
Have you ever seen the white lion?
Asks Chimbi.
No, I have never seen this lion before,
says Granny.
But maybe one day you will, Gogo.
That night, Chimbi dreams of meeting the white lion and riding on its back across the forest. In the morning, Chimbi wakes up and goes to a window. But today, she cannot hear the birds in the forest and she cannot feel the wind on her face. Something is wrong.
Granny! Granny!
Shouts Chimbi, running to wake up her granny. But Granny is very sick and cannot get out of bed. Chimbi calls her aunt who lives next door to take care of her granny. Chimbi overhears Granny telling her aunt that she's too sick to go to the clinic because it's too far away. Chimbi feels very sad. She runs into the forest and starts looking for mushrooms and herbs to make Granny feel better. After some time, Chimbi looks up from searching the ground for mushrooms and herbs.
Wait, where am I?
She says. Nothing looks familiar. Chimbi had not been noticing any sign or markings to help her get out of the forest.
Oh no, I'm lost, and soon it will be dark.
Chimbi cries. She knows she should not have come to the forest on her own. Suddenly, Chimbi sees a bright light coming from the top of the trees. Then a kind voice says,
Hello, little girl. Why are you crying?
"It is the white lion that Granny told her about." Chimbi feels strangely calm.
You're the white lion Gogo was telling me about. I came to the forest to look for mushrooms and herbs to make her feel better. But now I'm lost and I cannot get back to my village.
Chimbi explains.
I am the white lion of the forest. I take care of all the plants, animals, and people who live near my forest. Please don't cry. I know the way back to your village and I'll take you home.
The lion says. When they reach the edge of the forest, the lion suddenly stops.
Okay, I cannot take you further than this. I cannot leave the forest. Listen, you are brave enough to come and try help your granny. But children should never go in the forest alone. And remember, you must never harm the animals and plants that live and grow in the forest. If you take care of them, they will definitely take care of you.
When Chimbi reaches her home, her aunt rushes out to greet her.
Oh, Chimbi, never ever leave home without your granny or me. It is not safe for children to be alone in the forest.
Then she gives Chimbi a big hug.
I went to the forest to get some herbs and mushrooms to make Granny feel better. I'm so sorry you were worried.
Chimbi answers in a gentle voice. Chimbi and her aunt make a delicious soup for Granny. Very soon, Granny feels much better.
Ah, Chimbi, thank you so much for helping me get better.
Says Granny.
Gogo, I saw the white lion we were talking about yesterday.
Whispers Chimbi.
You are a special young girl to have seen the white lion.
Granny tells Chimbi with a smile on her face. Chimbi is happy to see Granny smiling again.
Thank you, Forest, for giving us good plants to eat and make us feel better. And thank you, White Lion, for helping me find my way home.
Chimbi says softly. And so we come to the end of another Nali Bali story time. Today's story was called The White Lion, written by Caspar Neruheni. Did you know that reading and telling stories to children at home can help them do better at school? If you want free stories to read to your children or for your children to enjoy on their own, visit the Nali Bali website www.nalibali.org or Mobi site www.nalibali.mobi. You will find stories in 11 South African languages as well as tips for reading and sharing stories with your children to grow their potential. Also look out for the bilingual Nali Bali Reading for Enjoyment supplement with great children's stories and activities available in newspapers. Nali Bali, it starts with a story.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives. Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
I mean, can you believe that we are done with the show? It's just the last 15 minutes of the show today. By the way, when I was driving into work, I was listening to Kathy, and she had Stimela in studio today. Wonderful. They're launching their brand new project this evening at SABC's M1 Studios. Oh, if you've never experienced SABC's M1 Studios with that wooden organ, and oh, it's the best place for sound, especially musical sound. But it is by invite only. But yes, that project is being launched today, and it was lovely to also hear all the SAFM family listeners reflecting back on their journey and their love for Stimela, talking about Stimela's role in the Mzabalazo. And one gentleman towards the end was talking about how Stimela hasn't really been given the kind of respect that it's due to the group, especially for its contribution, its historic contribution, and its legacy. So perhaps that's a conversation to be revisited by the right people in the Department of Arts and Culture. But you might want to rewind back on that conversation for the sake of nostalgia and feel goodness. If anyone's listening from Radio 2000, can I get an invite for tonight, please? Ela kahle. Siwela Langeni is joining us, co-founder of the book Circle Capital and author herself. And we are in conversation around the latest books on the shelf today. How are you doing, Siwela?
I'm good, thanks, and you, Bridget.
I'm good, thank you. Cannot complain. Well, listen, I think a lot of people are going to be excited about this first title, particularly the person who I gather, I don't know, I'm assuming because you're going to tell us that he's telling his story.
Yes, yes. The first book is Unlocked by Eben Etzebeth,
Yes.
the most kept player in South African rugby history. We've all seen his presence on TV, towering locks, who's got energy and aggression on the pitch. So he's done a memoir about his life. His first book, which we talked about key driving factors in his extraordinary career. How does he keep focused both on and off the pitch? I mean, I saw last week he announced the arrival of his second baby,
Oh.
talking about his humble beginnings in Goodwood, Cape Town, where nothing came easy to his place within the South African squad and the inner workings, So this I've enjoyed. I think the past 2 years I've read Rassi, I've read Sia's book. So they are such a riveting read, especially for rugby fans. I think even ordinary South Africans, because based on our success with rugby, it's always interesting to get the story behind the story, behind the scenes of how are these guys just so, keep getting it right. And even, just when you think things are off the table, at that one point they make it through.
Absolutely. Somewhere deep in my soul, I almost wish he'd titled the book Ebenezer. Just. You know what I mean? Just for the nostalgia of it. And what
It's funny. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's funny you should say that. They did a signing for his about 2 weeks ago,
Eh.
Jonathan Ball, and he literally shut down a mall. Somebody even proposed to his fiancée at Friday.
Oh,
He's in the
wow.
so he's got that thing. He's got that allure to people.
He really, really, really does. I mean, one of my favorite things to do is when I'm at the airport at OR Tambo is to sneak into the Wimpy and indulge in a cheeseburger. And a few times since, our historic World Cup wins, he's walked in
Yeah,
there with his lovely wife.
yeah,
And I felt the need to go crazy, and I had to
yeah.
hold myself and say, Bridget, decorum, you are in public. Like,
You don't know this person.
and
You
you
really don't know this
you
person.
don't know this person. But I feel like we all know this person. So I think this is going to be a great read for so many South Africans, especially because from what you say, it sounds like it's a bit of a memoir, but also it's a
Yes,
bit of a how-to for success and
yes,
resilience and that endearing spirit.
yes, absolutely. So encouraging, but also just beautiful South African story. These are guys who have put us on the map. Like we've had two consecutive wins of the World Cup,
Mm.
and just recently also we've just had a success. So I think it's worth definitely a read.
Absolutely. Sibella, I want us to just take the quick, there's always the matter of making sure our salaries are paid.
Absolutely.
Let's take a
Let's
quick
honor
break
that.
and then we'll come right back.
Extraordinary is built brick by digital brick. Vodacom Business powers strong businesses and thriving communities with scalable cloud, trusted security, smart AI, and IoT that connects what truly matters. This is how we're building a nation that's connected, empowered, and ready to lead. Visit www.vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
There's never a dull moment when two giants meet. Reigning champions Masandawana want to remain on the summit. However, Amapagania chase 3 points to breathe closer to the top spot. This is the Betway Premiership. Isekazini forever. Catch Mamelodi Sundowns versus Orlando Pirates this Saturday, 1 November at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC One. Then on SABC radio stations at 3:30 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
In a world where safety matters, you deserve protection you can trust. CIRA regulates South Africa's private security industry, ensuring only trained and qualified providers serve the public. From bodyguards and assets in transit to electronic security, investigations, event safety, locksmiths, and guarding. Every service must meet the highest standards. CIRA, protecting you and those who protect you.
Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
We're looking at the latest books on the shelf. We're in conversation with Usiwela, and you know that she is our regular book circle contributor, bringing us the latest or the most anticipated titles that are coming. And our summer list is growing ever so long each week, Usiwela. And we're not stopping at Unlocked. You are continuing because you have two more titles for us today.
Yes, and these are recipe books. I
Oh.
mean, though they're not moved as fast at Book Circle Capital, but I think they're definitely worth a mention.
Mm-hmm.
I think this time of the year, we look forward to those meetings with family and, sharing food and breaking bread around the table, around, the fry. So the recipe books are quite popular in the South African literature this time of the year.
Mm.
So we choose with them Good Food by Femida, or known affectionately as Fem's Jordan.
Mm.
She's a social media sensation. She's known, for having bold and apologetic recipes based on her character. Whether you're a seasoned home chef or you're somebody that's just trying to impress in-laws,
Mm-hmm.
she's got flawed-proof instructions, in the book. She's got such energy. She's got hundreds of followers on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And her book landed this week. She's been doing a whole media junket throughout various platforms, from Latin Acne to Mint curry, coconut pudding. So she cooks based on her Muslim heritage. She's Joburg based. She's passionate about food, lifestyle, and just having that authentic and real approach to food and recipes. So that's one to look forward to be a gift or for somebody that's just trying to, to, to explore this type of cuisine.
Yeah.
And the last one is by Sifo, the Cooking Husband. I don't know if you've heard of him. This is his second book, so it's volume 2.
Oh.
Sifo launched his first book, I think, in 2022. Yes. It was the Cooking Husband. His goal is to break. I have to read it properly because I like this message. His goal is to break the gender stereotype just around male figures in the kitchen. And he encourages more men to cook. He says the kitchen is no longer the domain of women only, and men need to get more comfortable in the kitchen so they can share equally in the responsibility of day-to-day life and its demands. So that's what Sifo is known for. And I mean, I think for it to have a second volume, this one must really, really land it well. So he talks about the joy of making memories through food. This is inspired by his nostalgia of home and family. He coined this term of Nyamarians, which is Nyama, you know, in Nguni language. So he focuses a lot on meat and different ways to do it, how to stew. But he also has like quick lunches and creative dinners. And what was surprising about him is I think he's a pharmacist by profession.
Oh.
Yeah, but then he loved this cooking and he started a channel during COVID. And then Penguin discovered him, and it's just been amazing from then. He's done like endorsements of brands, and yeah, so this one could be a nice gift if you're trying to send a message to your better half or just for yourself, you know, if you want to. And he specializes in local cuisine as well.
Lovely. I mean, I'm all for a good cookbook. I think every household should have a healthy kitchen on display, well, a healthy collection on display in the kitchen. Whether you use it or not, it's good to be
It's
there.
another thought.
It's a whole nother thought. And also what I love, as you say, for instance, Sifo or Saifo has termed this his era of Nyamarians. I have found it interesting over the years because there's really been sort of this rise in cooks, in home cooks, especially after COVID, and people
Yes.
have built really strong brands behind it, and they've monetized on it in incredible ways. And I found it
Yes.
interesting the cookbooks that have come out of that because everyone has a unique flair. It's no longer just about recipes, but people are actually telling their stories through these pages.
Yes. Yes, so cookbooks are not just recipes. So the first couple of pages, they're telling their story. They're telling their life story. They're telling about their love for food and where did that come from. They're celebrating their heritage, celebrating their families. And we all know that there's recipes. Food always connects to a memory of a loved one who taught you about it, or food takes you back to a memory of home or something, whatever connection there is. So I think the cookbooks are often stories in its sense, not just those recipes. And you're absolutely right. There's been a boom. I mean, every year there's Chef Zanele. I remember there's another chef that's something Feed My Tribe.
Yes.
So there's many people who move beyond the socials to then have the actual book. And you raise a key point as to whether we use it, I don't know, but it's more of that pride, even just to have it in the home and just, and to maybe gift it to someone. So it's a nice movement.
Absolutely. And just in our final moments as we chat about this, for me, I find that cookbooks, it's also a good way to explore other cultures,
Yes.
and other family traditions and ways. And so I have a small but healthy collection. I've got a Greek cookbook. I've got David Higgs's books.
Yes.
I've enjoyed the journey. I've got Seba's books. Feed
Yes.
My Tribe. Because it's nice to see how other people's lives and homes are
Yes.
expressed through food, and also how they put together these books because these cookbooks are very nice. They're
They're
collector's items.
beautiful. They are beautiful. Even if you didn't, it's just beautiful to look at. I mean, publishers invest a lot of money into the photography, into the staging of everything. It's just so beautiful. You actually eat with your eyes before the stuff is actually made. And I love the point you make about the cultures. I mean, think of Sam's book. I have no exposure to Muslim heritage at a close range, besides, knowing my colleagues and the holidays they observe. But through the book, you can understand what are those key meals, what do they mean, what are some of the ingredients, where are they collected?
Yeah.
I mean, that they go into those stories about, these days we're very conscious about what we eat and where it comes from.
Yeah.
Those are those stories that come through those books. And I know that it's not something that moves a lot in the sales, but I love that publishers are so aggressive in making sure that we don't forget this joy of recipe.
Absolutely. Suela, thank you so much for the time as per usual. That was Suela Langeni, co-founder of
Thank
the
you.
book Circle Capital and author in her own right. So I hope you go out and get yourself those titles. That is where we leave it for today. I hope you have a lovely weekend. You get some rest, you get some relaxation, some bonding time with your families. Remember that tomorrow is National Children's Day, and on the back of our earlier conversation, use that opportunity to give your child a hug, or maybe to break the generational challenge of showing physical affection in the family. You can give someone else a hug who's not a child. We will see you on Monday. We have another full show on Monday because the commission is still on a break. Inshallah, God willing, we get to do it again.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
A happy weekend to you, Bridget, and the team on the top stories. Disaster Management Services on high alert after weather warning, and two George DA councillors join Patriotic Alliance. For SAFM News, I'm Ondalambana, and a very good afternoon. The city of Ekurhuleni Disaster Management Emergency Services says it is on high alert after the South African Weather Service issued warnings for severe thunderstorms across large parts of the country, including Gauteng. The Weather Service has issued a yellow level 4 warning for the central and eastern Free State, while a level 2 warning has been issued for the Northwest, Northern Cape and Southern Gauteng. Ekurhuleni Emergency spokesperson William Tladi.
Those who stays in wetland areas should be on high alert as well because of flooding is imminent. And again, due to the strong winds that are blowing, those who reside next to or just next to huge trees, as that can be blown off, it might be of a detrimental effect to them that whereby at the worst case scenario, it might result with fatalities and property loss.
Two DA ward councillors from George in the Western Cape, both serving on the Mayoral Committee, have resigned to join the Patriotic Alliance. The move by Brandon Adams and Marshall Kleinhans not only triggers two by-elections in the coming months, but also strips the DA of its majority in council. The party now holds 25 seats in the 55-seat council. With support from its coalition partner, the ACDP, they can count on 26 votes, too short of a majority. Adams says his decision was about giving a voice to marginalized communities.
Yesterday, I've read messages of the 50 silver coins thing, the Judas thing and all of that nonsense. And I said, no, my journey is to represent the Khoi people. I didn't get any money. Interestingly enough, Marshall, his money was stopped, but because of lawyers' letters, his payment at the municipality went through yesterday, Marshall. So he got his last salary because Marshall was also MMC within the DA, just like I was MMC in the DA.
Accused one in the Senzo Mayiwa murder trial at the High Court in Pretoria, Muzi Sibiya, has accused the investigating officers of stealing his identity document to fill in personal information. Sibiya has been responding to questions from State Prosecutor George Baloyi. Sibiya and four others are on trial for the 2014 murder of the Bafana Bafana captain. The state alleges Sibiya pointed out Kelly Kumalo's parental home in Vosloorus on Gauteng's East Rand, where Mayiwa was shot. Sibiya denies this and also denies giving information to the police captured on the signed pro forma document. The Moses Kotane anti-corruption movement, representing 109 villages in the northwest, has blamed deep-seated corruption within the Moses Kotane local municipality for the poor services the communities are receiving. The